Skinner believed that behavior is determined by the evolutionary history of the species, together with the individual's environmental circumstances.
We as a group have identified the following reasons why we have chosen behaviorism associated with the case study of Kirsten. Behaviorism consists mainly of genetics, environmental variables, and the behavior of the individual. All behavior is caused by either your current environment or past experiences. Operant conditioning is displayed through Kirsten's behavior because of how she grew up. Kirsten did not have any support systems in her environment. Her behavior was caused by her having to take responsibility at a young age and depend on herself for her own happiness. Kirsten's personality can be explained by the types of selection by consequences, namely phylogenetic, ontogenetic, and cultural. We chose behaviorism because it was the dominant school of thought in the mid-20th century of psychology and because it overlooked the question of how individuals assign meaning to environmental events.
Phylogenetic states that the environment selects people based on survival and reproductiveness. In application to Kirsten, she is a survivor in her environment because she managed to survive her circumstances by creating a new life for herself. Natural selection contributes to events which act on positive or negative reinforcement that result in consequences associated by the best chance of survival and reproductive success. Kirsten is negatively reinforced by life challenges. Her negativity could be the reason for her underperformance in the workplace because of her negative expectations of life. Ontogenetic states that behavior produces consequences in the environment, therefore, successful behavior is chosen to be reinforced. Kirsten is reinforced not to trust anyone, therefore she could not make many friends in the workplace. Cultural has a direct influence on a person's environment. It occurs through imitating genetics, rule adherence, as well as reinforcement. When you look at Kirsten's genetic inheritance, she wasn't born with a dysfunctional right eye, and therefore adapting to the situation was a lot harder for her. When it comes to the cultural reinforcement, she is reinforced that men are abusive, and she also did not have a motherly figure, and for that reason did not know who to imitate.
There are two types of behaviors. The first behavior is respondent behavior. It is a behavior that occurs in the presence of a specific stimuli. An example of respondent behavior in Kirsten's case would be where a father assaults a woman and a specific stimuli is created that led her to intervene. The second behavior is operant behavior. This behavior includes no specific stimuli, an operant reflex that is spontaneous and does not originate in the environment. An example of operant behavior in Kirsten's case is that she expects to be betrayed by people, and this led to her not forming any close relationships or friendships with anyone.
Successive approximation. Through shaping, more complex behavior can occur. Superstitious behavior could be shaped by the environment. Reinforced behavior can have specific meaning that is attached to it, although the connection between the reinforcer and behavior is unintentional.
Types of reinforcement. Fixed interval reinforcement. When Kirsten was picked on at school during the week, every week, it caused her to feel worthless. Variable ratio reinforcement. Every time Kirsten made a mistake at work, she felt worthless. She paces in her office when she is alone and often forgets what she wanted to say during meetings. Variable interval reinforcement. Because of her mistakes at work, Kirsten would lie in bed at night thinking on how she would lose her job. This has become a routine in her life. Kirsten would also think of every scenario in which things would go wrong. Every time she doesn't perform, she would think negatively. So this is why we have decided that behaviorism is the best theory to explain Kirsten's situation. We do hope that you have enjoyed our video.
Created using Powtoon.